And but I took this top circle that I had up here, this teeny tiny one, and I dropped it over here so we can actually see it and work with the whole entire thing fairly quickly. Basically, I took my add tool, I put it on the outside edge, hold shift so that I can move that voxel, and I pulled it off to the side so that it was in line here so I can make these side little corner handles. We want these because once I go to copy this, the center part is going to totally vanish. You're not going to be able to copy it, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. Now, I need to make sure you understand that I am in a space that is underground. This cannot be done up in the air. You have to be underneath the ground when you do this technique. So I have this, and I'm going to make a copy right quick just by selecting this circle so that I have a copy of it in my clipboard so that I can paste in a moment here. But after I've put this circle down and I've built my handles and put my handles like this, I have this circle here. Take your heal tool and make sure you're underground when you do this or it's not going to work. And I want you to heal this circle block by block pretty much until you go all the way around it. And I selected a small circle just because of time value on this here, but we're going to heal each one of these voxels that make up that circle. And as you can tell, it kind of deforms the shape of it. Now once you have it all healed, do a Control V to paste so I can repaste that copy that I put on the clipboard. I'm going to put one on the very top of it, paste it, Control V, and I'm going to put one at the very bottom of it. I got to get it all lined up and all that kind of good stuff, just to make sure that it's in the proper position. There we go. So basically I'm doing like a triple stack, but the only thing I'm going to be working with is that center piece. So let's paste that one. Now the reason why I pasted here and pasted here is, as you can tell, those jagged edges from where I healed it is now gone. It's all back to being smooth again. So I'm going to take my selection tool, grab right straight across here, and I'm going to drag it across to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Alright, so after we made that selection, do a Control C to copy that little area that we healed. Now right here you can see if I paste it, the only thing I see here is the handles. I don't have that circle anymore because I have basically grabbed the 0 voxels, and that is what I'm after, is that 0 voxels. They exist, but they don't exist. They are basically the server value of the voxel. Everything around the rest of that area is air, and I'm going to replace existing voxels with air voxels, which is that space that's around the 0 voxel. Very hard to understand, but once you see the technique, that's the important thing. Don't worry about what kind of voxel it is, it's the effect that you get from it. So I have that selected now, and I've pasted it, and I have these handles so I can actually visually see what I have here. I have already placed this huge chunk of stone here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that air and the 0 voxels to carve out the space around. Oops, I think I need to back up because actually no, it's working. So I think I do either have me back up. I need to put the air on, I think. Alright, let's try this again. There we go. With the air selected there, I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to stack these blocks, these handle blocks at least, all the way up on top of each other for the whole entire length of this thing, just by stacking it. It's basically carving out the shape that I have created over here in that stone. You notice that what I copied was that 0 voxel dirt. The actual pillar here, or this circle tube, was stone. Well, it stays stone. It stays the way it was. And the shape that I have created over here using the healed earth, it remains. But the air space that is around it is what's actually chopping out the space around it. And it does this the whole entire length of it. Now you're probably going like, well, how in the hell can I use that? You know? It doesn't make any sense. Well, if I go over here, this is another one of the same little boxes here. Let me fix this one because I'm going to reuse it in a moment. If I come over here and I have something like this, I have chopped holes all through this thing, so you can see I have created design work here. And if I control V to paste it and bring this same design work that I just created up against this and put it back the way it was, back to the bottom. There we go. And I do the same thing over here on something that I've created a design on. Take a look at what it actually does to this thing. Nicky feels like he's shopping with his girlfriend. That's awesome. So, and you can see it chopped out of that block that same pretty much circular pattern that I created over here, but it left all the holes that I had in it too. So I can come up with circles that actually have this design work in it. It's a way to kind of spice up things, and you can actually make some really cool designs using this. I use this to actually make this huge circle up here that's got all these different holes and stuff up here, and I've used it on my claim as well. So we have that. That's something that can be done with it. Now, let me back out, put this back the way it was, and I'll come over here, and you can see this particular pattern that I've kind of put down. Let me make this selection so I can copy it to my clipboard, so I can use it to make sure that it comes out the way I want. Control C to copy. And I'm going to use that same technique, and I'm just going to paint this instead. Let's paint this funky shape that I've kind of created here. Make sure that I'm not missing anything. Alright, and it looks like it did pretty good, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But I could stack it one on top, one on the bottom, just to make sure it was clean. So if I grab this and I grab it over here and go ahead and I'm going to copy this to my clipboard, Control C to copy, and I'm going to do this right on top just like I did before, just with the solid block, and you'll kind of see what this does with a different type of an approach here. I mean, you can create your own design type work in the process and make your own type pillars and stuff, and all you got to do is come back and delete the handles. You can put the handles pretty much however you want to, however far away from the object as you want. You just remember where you put it. But as you can see, I just chopped out from this pattern the same approach that I had over here, and you're like, well, I could have done that just with single voxels. Well, yeah, you could, you know, but it's just a different way of actually doing something. I mean, you don't have to do it with just squares. You can do it with circles. You can do it with designs that you've created using like a let's see, how can I put that? Kind of like an inlay, I guess you could say. But you see, there we go. It still has those cross beams that we were cut out in it before, all the way across. And the only thing that's left is the stuff that I left in there, like that. Which I think is pretty darn cool, actually, because you can just take something and manipulate it the way you want. Let's see what we got. Thank you. But that's different things you can do with this here. Now, let me do something else, and this is actually kind of cool. So, I'm gonna make a design, right? And we'll do like this. I'm gonna make a big old, like, part of a timma or something. Like, I'm gonna make a T. A cool looking T. How's that? And I'm going to click here. I'll drag this over. Like so. Just so I can kind of have a guide to wherever it is that I'm going to put this thing. I'm going to select this. Make a copy just in case. And let's go ahead and paste it over here. I'm going to make a stack.
He looks like a little insane drunken angel.
What the fuck, mate? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. So I've done like a stack of my little design that I've created over here, and I'm gonna grab this like so, pull this out, drag it up, and now I'm gonna hit this thing with the smooth tool, smooth it down, just so I kind of have like a little design kind of going on here. Now I'm going to select a center portion out of it, and this is kind of how you do a inlay, but I'm going to do the same thing with Fyrel's little thing, Fyrel's cookie cutter. Control copy, Control paste. Now remember, I got this thing on my clipboard now, so I can kind of play with this however I want, but I've changed the shape of that T to this. Now I'm going to take my heal tool, and I'm going to heal that same area using my heal tool, like so. Control V to paste on top so that I get that shape back the way it was. I'm going to do the same thing. We'll paste on the bottom. Now if I take my selection tool, grab across, slide it through, and it looked like it turned to stone in the center, but trust me, it's still that dirt. It's just because the concrete has, or the stone has bled into that area. I'm going to do a Control C to copy, and we'll come over here. Let's make a selection over here. It's probably a little too wide, but it's all good. We kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. Let's fill in this space. Control V to paste. Let's bring this up over where this area is. I'm just going to go down it like this. You can see I can literally make my own custom shapes, and they come out pretty darn flawless in the process, with really smooth cuts around whatever it is that I'm cutting it out of. I mean, if I had a bigger block here, I could have, you know, it probably would have come out a little cleaner on the side, because you can look over here and see how clean it is here. So these, doing these cookie cutters, you can actually form like whatever shape it is that you want to off of a given shape, and kind of come up with some really cool design work if you spend the time to make that particular type of a design work.